This is where the fun begins.
What's up guys, Unofficial Star Wars here. Hope you're all doing well, and in this video we are going to be discussing Sam Witwer with his voice being credited into the Ahsoka credits actually. This could mean the potential return of Starkiller or Baylan Marrok into actual canon Star Wars for one thing, as that character is now a part of Legends, being Darth Vader's apprentice and a very highly, very powerful Force user overall. I myself personally grew up with the Force Unleashed video games, aside from the LEGO Star Wars games, and they were beyond amazing and so fun, and I loved the story, the overall narrative that had gone along with them. And so then when I went on to find out that these weren't actually a part of the main Star Wars canon or main storyline, I was honestly kind of heartbroken, to be honest. It felt like it was a waste of time almost. So to see some type of canonization or bringing that character into canon, of course on a toned down level, I think it is something that a lot of Star Wars fans have been kind of wanting here, and I think that the Ahsoka show inserts a perfect time in order to actually do this, of where you take Anakin Skywalker's apprentice and then Darth Vader's apprentice, and you maybe pinpoint them against each other of some type of aftermath of where Vader's not even there after Return of the Jedi. That being said, I think that a lot of you guys believe what I'm kind of thinking here already, and that would be that Sam Witwer was actually possibly credited as the character Marrok, or the Inquisitor that we see in the Ahsoka show. He is probably the most mysterious character in the entirety of the show. We just don't know anything about this guy aside from that he was an Inquisitor of some types, or still brings on that Inquisitor lifestyle overall, and that tone to his overall character, having that lightsaber still, the Inquisitor lightsaber that's round and very specifically done for Inquisitors. All Inquisitors throughout Star Wars canon that we see in the Jedi Fallen Order games and the Jedi Survivor game as well, also with Star Wars Rebels and the comics, Obi-Wan Kenobi, that is the same lightsaber that all Inquisitors all have. We don't know anything about this character. He's a completely new character into Star Wars canon with the Ahsoka show. We don't know who's underneath the mask, especially, is a huge thing that has a lot of Star Wars fans rolling, and if we'll ever even get to that point of where it's unveiled of who this guy actually is underneath the mask, when and if they do take that mask off, could it very well be Sam Witwer as Baylan Marrok or Starkiller in canon? That's probably the strongest theory as of right now. Before then, it was actually that a lot of people had believed that this was going to be Ezra Bridger now turned to the dark side. And while I think that overall theory is unique, and I just don't really think that it would work in my own thoughts and opinions. If we see Ezra Bridger turn to the dark side, he wouldn't be more of an Inquisitor type. He would just be a Sith, more similar to what we see with Baylan Skoll and his apprentice Shen Hati. He definitely wouldn't have all of this Inquisitor stuff, and also from what we know with this Inquisitor specifically is that he doesn't belong underneath Baylan Skoll or Shen Hati. He's just kind of off doing his own thing, very similar to what Baylan Skoll and his apprentice are doing as mercenaries or pretty much bounty hunters, but with lightsabers, which is honestly so cool. He's really just working underneath Morgan Elsbeth. Taking a quick read from gamerrant.com, I'll have their article linked in the description down below for you guys to check out there as well. An eagle-eyed fan watching Ahsoka noticed longtime Star Wars actor Sam Witwer was in the episode, which could hint at Starkiller's return, or at least in the credits as I had mentioned. Ahsoka episodes 1 and 2 were released this past Tuesday, with episode 3 just around the corner, and in a classic Dave Filoni fashion, there are a lot of references and connections to other Star Wars projects. The show already features several of Filoni's original characters, including Ahsoka Tano from Star Wars The Clone Wars, and several Ghost crew members from Star Wars Rebels. Grand Admiral Thrawn, played by Lars Mikkelsen, who had done the voice originally, and a group of brand new antagonists will also be in the show. When the first episode of Ahsoka ended and the credits had rolled, some fans noticed a familiar name. Witwer was credited for underneath additional voices. Sam Witwer has played several Star Wars characters, including the Son and Darth Maul in the Clone Wars, and he voiced Emperor Palpatine in video games and in Rebels as well. However, his most notable role isn't actually canon: Starkiller in Star Wars The Force Unleashed, which is the video game. One of the new antagonists introduced in Ahsoka's show is Marrok, a former Inquisitor completely encased in armor hiding his identity. This has led to many theories about who is underneath that armor, that many people are speculating Starkiller is finally making his way into canon, or at least a version of the character that's more toned down, of course. Although Marrok stays completely silent, he makes a few grunts here and there during his fights that would be enough for an additional voice's credit. Adding to the theory is that Starkiller's actual name, Baylan Marrok, which isn't too far off from Marrok. Witwer also has revealed that Filoni almost made Starkiller an Inquisitor for Rebels, but ultimately had decided it did not make sense for the story that they were going to tell. So not only does Sam Witwer have that itch to bring Starkiller back into canon, but it seems that Dave Filoni does as well. Starkiller is not the only character fans think is behind Marrok's mask, though, however, as I had mentioned. Fans have a lot of theories about that and have included obscure Star Wars characters, but another popular idea is that it has some kind of connection to Ezra Bridger, as I had mentioned. The theory comes from the fact that Marrok is the name of an Arthurian knight who was transformed into a wolf, and Ezra's connection with the Loth wolves on Lothal. There's a lot of symbolism and kind of different references going on with that overall, if you get that picture. But as I had already mentioned, I don't necessarily feel like that this is Ezra Bridger, and he wouldn't have gone towards like more of an inquisitor path if he did fall to the dark side. He would definitely have been something more similar to what we see with Baylan Skoll and his apprentice, as I had mentioned. I also don't feel necessarily that he would hide his identity all that much either, and that it would be very straightforward. A lot of fans believe that maybe Ezra is somewhere between there and now, of where we saw him last at the end of Star Wars Rebels, going off into deep space, now revealed to be actually in an entire another galaxy. Could have taken captive by whatever, for one thing, that controls that galaxy, or could have been taken by like Thrawn or somebody and as like a prisoner and kind of broken and like just like tortured to the point of where he does turn to the dark side and then goes underneath Thrawn to like rule for Thrawn essentially, or like do whatever Thrawn tells him to do. I also quickly want to mention of how like well he was able to like par with Ahsoka that we see with their fight scene in Ahsoka episode 2. I had showed that clip at the beginning of this video a little bit. Marrok is definitely well trained, and to be that well trained, being an Inquisitor, the thing that we know with Inquisitors is that they were before Jedi before during the events of the Clone Wars. So that being said, he for sure had trained as a Jedi, you know, somewhere in the Jedi Temple before Order 66, and then when Order 66 ran around, that's where a lot of Jedi fell to the dark side, or like became Inquisitors pretty much, ruling underneath for Vader as like their like apprentice for Vader. Many fans, of course, would love to see Starkiller appear in live action and become canon in some type of way for Star Wars. He's a fan favorite character and deserves to be Star Wars canon, but he would probably need to be nerfed quite a bit, as I had mentioned. Fans must wait to see if Marrok's identity is ever even revealed in Ahsoka. This year all being said, I want to know all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. What do you guys think about Marrok so far? I would love to hear what you guys are all thinking in the comment section down below. Thanks so much for watching today's video. Of course, this has been Unofficial Star Wars. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great one, guys. May the Force be with you as always. Peace out.